All right. We're going to move along in our agenda to the approval of minutes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the June 20th, 2023 regular meeting of the Board of Education as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the closed session of the June 20th, 2023 regular meeting of the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we don't have public comment that I'm aware of. Moving on. We're going to move to the consent agenda.
Should we get Shannon in here?
Yeah, I just
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
I thought she was gone.
I thought she was
Rolling
going to.
tonight. I love the efficiency.
No, I'm sorry. I walked out, but
Time to look up Johnny's
I was writing
Italian
everything
meat.
down because I thought she was gone for tonight. I'm like, okay.
Me too. Somebody was, this is the second I've heard of it. And what's her
I just thought you were doing
Yeah, I
it.
thought I was doing it too.
Don't say anything.
Oops. Okay.
I
didn't check my phone.
No. Well, no, I didn't walk all the way around. That's okay. We are currently at the consent agenda. So we passed the first two approval of meeting
Can I hand
motions.
that to Shannon, please?
You did the minutes?
Yeah.
Yes.
There, it's all, I wrote it all down.
Oh, okay. Good, just forgot.
Misunderstood that you're leaving after this. Okay. Okay, moving along to the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Personnel recommendations, voluntary transfer of Michelle Teresi to Manning Elementary as library media specialist. Voluntary transfer of Julie Johnson to Miller School as self-contained classroom teacher. Rainey Kaplan, athletic director, not to exceed 600 hours or 120 days. Pedro Rodriguez, technology support specialist, and resignations. 2, approval of the July 2023 expenditure report. 3, ratification of the June 2023 regular payroll. 4, renewal of self-workers compensation. That's it. Any motion to?
So moved.
Any seconds?
Second.
Okay. Roll call.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Ms. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
We'll move on to our discussion and start with the presentation of monthly financial statements for June 2023.
So in the board agenda are the monthly financial statements of June 2023. Looking at the monthly financial summary report, the unaudited operating deficit is $838,000 for fiscal year 23, so that's through June 2023. On the revenue side, the district received roughly $33.6 million, or 102% of its total budget through June 2023. The district received a little over $12 million in the month of June as a portion of the 2022 tax levy. On the expenditure side, the district spent a total of $34.5 million, or 104% of its total budget through June 2023. A large expense, or a large portion of those expenses, besides salary benefits, is purchase services, and that's where we pay the taxi services and other contract services out of. So again, as of now, unaudited deficit for fiscal year 23 is $838,000. The board approved the budget at a $2.1 million deficit back in September.
Well
Congrats.
done.
You'll lose money.
So the board will review the financials of the final fiscal year 23 in December of 2023 when the audit firm approves the audit.
Yep. I'm going to say it again. I love these reports. They're the best I've ever seen.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move to the tentative 2023-2024 budget.
So tonight, the tentative budget will be presented. After tonight, the board will approve the CSBO to post in the newspaper at least 30 days prior to the budget hearing, the tentative budget. And then on September 26th, the board will approve the budget for fiscal year 24. So in the state budget that the districts submit, there are two sections of the budget. So there are operating funds and non-operating funds. So operating funds are those that generally operate the school district. So education fund, operation and maintenance, transportation, IMRF and FICA and tort fund. The non-operating funds are debt service, capital projects, working cash, and life safety. So those two separation of funds equal the school budget. Looking at fiscal year 23, this is a breakdown of unaudited actuals for operating funds. As you can see, the largest surplus is the operation and maintenance fund, and the largest deficit in operating fund is the transportation. And the large portion of that transportation cost is the taxi services. The district spent roughly $900,000 on taxis alone. Unaudited actuals for non-operating funds, there was a surplus of $5.5 million. And reason is the 2022 bond proceeds of the district received. That goes into capital projects, Fund 60. Internally, we coded it as Fund 61, so you guys are familiar with Fund 61. So that's why the large surplus was the working cash bonds we issued. So looking at fiscal year 24, here are the budget assumptions. On the revenue side, the biggest takeaway is the conservative property tax collection rate of 96.5. The district usually receives 99%. For fiscal year 24, I'm budgeting 96.5, and then also a conservative 4% increase in 2023 levy, which we will receive in May and June. However, we already know the CPI is 6.5, so we're going to be projecting a little less, even though we're going to be receiving a little more. So being on the conservative side. On the expenditures, the district added roughly $107,000 of payroll costs. And when I say that is when we move around of retirees and the salary schedule. Overall, all these configurations, it was an added $107,000. However, we reallocated a lot of general funds using grant funds this year, because this is the last year we're using ESSER. We're really trying to maximize all of our grants and move general expenses to grant funding.
And can you just speak a little bit to what you have it as a bullet point, but the taxi usage?
So yeah, so earlier this spring the board approved us walking away from taxis and using a third-party vendor, Safeway. So all of our special education students will be either riding Sunrise Taxi or Safeway, or excuse me, Sunrise busing or Safeway busing. So we will no longer use taxi services. So that is a significant savings to the district. I am projecting a difference of $400,000 for next school year's budget. Any questions on the assumptions? These assumptions will change from today to September. I'll add some or take some away before the September board meeting.
I have just one question. That 96.5 is the property tax collection rate you got in your assumptions. It's about 3% lower than what we've been getting. Do you know roughly what does that equate to in dollars? That gap is about what per percentage point that we're?
It's between the 96.5 and 99 is $400,000.
Oh, thank you. That's exactly it. Thank you.
So looking at the fiscal year 24 tentative budget, the operating funds, the district will be budgeting a balanced budget amongst the operating funds. Our strongest surplus is the operation and maintenance fund. Speaking with Joe Smith, we went with a approach of services only instead of big construction projects, because we have that bond proceeds we have to use the HVAC project for, and really just maintaining the buildings and making sure they're operating rather than using big dollars on roof repairs or carpet repair. So it's a lot of services and supplies and materials. So that was a significant cut in the operation and maintenance budget. And then also the transportation is $227,000 deficit projected. Again, that's a huge gap of what this past year occurred with those taxi costs cut. And then IMRF and FICA, $899,000. Those are the benefits from support staff individuals. And we're gonna reallocate property tax levy to cover some of the funds going forward.
The cut to ops and maintenance, one-time cut, or, because we're gonna need to do roof repairs?
I think it's based on the capital projects plan that the board would
Yep.
need to review and kind of the referendum conversations down the line. So I can't say if it's gonna be future, but the capital projects plan will dictate where we go forward.
Okay, thank you.
Here is the tentative 24 tentative budget for non-operating funds. It's a $2.7 million deficit, and the reason for that is because of the HVAC project. We received the funds in fiscal year 25. We paid roughly $3 million in fiscal year 23 for the HVAC project. We have the remaining costs in fiscal year 24. So that's why there's a significant deficit, because we do have 2 checks outstanding for that project.
So essentially, when we get those final checks, that's balanced.
What?
For when we get the
When we
final
pay
checks
those?
for, we pay.
We're
well, they
paying them in
payment.
24, so
Right.
they're reflected in this budget.
Right.
Yeah,
That
so,
becomes a
so that, yeah,
zero once those
Yeah.
future payments
correct,
come in.
correct.
So 25, we won't have that opposite.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, in fiscal year 25, that $2.9 million won't be there because we paid that expense.
Yeah. And if we were to look at the 2 years, it would actually be zero, because it's paid for because we have the funds. It's just that we're paying them over 2 years.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. And usually what comes out of that fund is architect costs, you know, Cashman, us paying Cashman for their services. That usually comes out of this fund if we're not doing projects. Any questions?
Nice job on a balanced budget.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Yes.
Right
Thank
there in that
you.
word, balance.
I will be posting in the newspaper next week, and then the board will be approving the fiscal year 24 budget in September.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move to the pilot of curriculum materials at Westmont Junior High School.
The board has information with regard to Amplify, which is the core curriculum that Amy Quattrone has researched and decided to purchase for her ELA department. All of her literacy teachers will use it. It's a combination of print and online materials. And the cost of the pilot will be paid for from the ESSER 3 funds. And then ongoing, if the teachers decide that that the program is appropriate and that it's worked for them, then ongoing she will add the cost of the program to her site-based funds. The program has been vetted. She did research with other districts. Dr. Braun actually is familiar with the program, so she can support the teachers and support the school with regard to the professional learning. Professional development is part of the program, as you can see. That will be an intense, all-day program and with follow-up from coaches. Do you have any questions at all?
Is this replacing something or supplementing?
No, it's not it is not replacing anything. Typically, with content area teachers in junior high and high school, teachers engage in curriculum writing and they curate their own materials and they curate, various resources. For example, the junior high has been using MuseLA as a resource for text material, but the school and the district felt like they needed more than just what was curated through, the curriculum writing process. This is a structured program. It's rigorous and it focuses on close reading, and we expect to see impact on our reading scores as a result of this. So this is a core curriculum. It's a program. It's a all-inclusive program.
Good question. You said this is a pilot.
Well, we call it a pilot because this is the first year we will use it. So the program, this is part of the evaluation process. It's really just the first year is just to ensure that the program meets our needs. The other thing is that we are paying for it from grant funds because we attribute the weak literacy scores in part
Right.
to COVID.
Right, that
So
makes
that's-
sense.
Yeah.
So I think you just answered the question. How long is the pilot? It's the first full year.
It's the first year, yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Anything else?
Okay, no other questions. We'll move to action items. So the first, approval of authorization to pay additional July bills for 2023. 2024, the chair will entertain a motion that authorizes and directs the treasurer to pay any additional bills in July that have been budgeted for the current or prior fiscal years presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Ms. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the tentative 2023-2024 budget as presented, and that said budget will be available for public inspection in the district business office from July 26, 2023 until board adoption on Tuesday, September 26, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Ms. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Motion carries. 3, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the consultant contract for Gene Spiller to audit and evaluate process for principals as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Motion carries. Congratulations. Okay. Number 4, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the purchase of Amplify ELA 6 through 8 core instructional materials to be deployed during the 2023-2024 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Ms. Redonio?
Yes.
Ms. Hoover?
Yes.
Ms. Rogers?
Yes.
Ms. Steckity?
Yes.
Mr. Avia?
Yes.
Mr. Marin?
Yes.
Ms. Conover?
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, we'll move to the superintendent report.
I just want to thank Anthony and the entire staff for leading the registration night last night. And a big thank you to our community for coming out. For some people, it's not always, it's a little bit of time out of their summer schedule, but people showed up, and it was great to see our community, and it was great to see some of our students, and I think it was overall extremely well run, so that was a positive. We're working hard this summer to prepare for the opening of school year. We have some really ambitious goals. Especially, I want to announce to the community that we have a new slogan about student attendance, because we do have concerns about student attendance in the district. Attendance matters no more than 5. So we're asking our families to reorientate attendance and the way we think about attendance in the district. I think COVID really nationally had an impact on the way we think about students attending school, because we had to. We were in the middle of a pandemic. But the pandemic is over, and we need to reorientate it and realize how absolutely essential it is that students attend school and have excellent attendance. And so we will announce this, give guidelines, give support, but we really want to send the message that we need to increase attendance in our district, and we need students in schools so we can serve them best and give them the best possible education. If they're not there, they can't learn from us. So there's the report. We've been working hard and diligently, and we can't wait to welcome back our students in just a few short weeks, and our teachers and all the sacred work they do.
Thank you. And we'll move to board reports.
Just a quick, same thing with the registration, the PTOs, the boosters, we're all out working hard.
Yes.
Getting their stuff together. Reach out to them, let them know if you can help in any way, shape, or form. But yeah,
I did have an extra question for you. Summer schools, was that pretty, I don't know, the turnouts with summer schools and how that went?
We need to do a board report at, when school opens about the effectiveness of what we thought transpired in summer school. So, and we have more summer school to come. Some lead-up programs, some on-ramping programs for our students. So we owe you and the board and the community a report on the effectiveness of summer school. But since there's still one more segment of it, I'd like to do that in the, August meeting.
Okay.
I also, with the summer programs, I just want to congratulate the staff and the high school. I know they held a lot of the camps, but I think this is one of the first years that with sports programs that we included elementary schools in that, and that was handled really well. I like to see that it was all in district, and so kids weren't going out for various sports camps. We did it pretty successfully. I think all the sports that we hold at the school, so congratulations for keeping our kids in-house, and I think they took part of it. And I think they still have a few more, but
Sentinel
it's our teens.
Juniors.
Yeah, it would be nice to see like a summer recap, not just the summers, but
The whole
the
summer.
whole shebang.
Including the activities.
I mean, like how,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, why, right? Why did we make sure that everything was extended to the elementary kids? Like, how many, I don't want to get I don't want to get too into the weeds, but let's celebrate what happened this summer.
Yeah.
And I think from a registration standpoint, this was the first return to in-person registration for us in 3 years, right? How many families registered in person? What did that save the district? What is the outcome of those pieces? Like a summer recap, right? Because there was a lot of moving parts of this summer. So let's celebrate them, but let's also explain them.
Yeah, one of the things that struck me, I mean, just over the summer in general, but at last night's registration in specific was this school district never stops. Summer is, and so that's a theme. That I talk too loud. That's a theme. That's a theme that I think is something we should communicate to the community, which is we don't stop.
Yeah.
We never stop. And these are all the things we did over the summer.
Yeah, a recap.
Also
And-
speaking to even the teachers' meetings, so
Yeah.
Yeah, the
nonstop.
teachers
Yeah.
have been meeting since, yeah.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
That's not stuff that I would say most of the community does not realize. Our teachers have come in for professional development. What did they do their development, right?
Yeah, teachers, it's an easy job. Everyone gets the summer off.
Yeah, not so
Not yet.
much, yeah.
We did, I appreciate you saying that, Leah. The professional development, right when school came out, was just super intense. We had all of our math teachers, K through 12, with vertical articulation meetings. Our literacy people, K through 12, at articulation meetings. So that's just a taste of some of the professional development that was done by our staff.
Yeah, let's celebrate the summer. There's a lot to
Great.
celebrate. Yeah.
And I
then-
thank you for hitting the ground running.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like,
Yes.
that's
Yep.
a big part of it.
And I just want to, from the budget standpoint, I just want to thank all the administrators and the staff. I know this was not easy. You guys promised a balanced budget months ago, and you delivered it. And you didn't do it by yourselves. I know that the administrators all, and the staff in the buildings all had a lot to do with it. So I want to thank everybody for all of that work.
Lastly, future meetings. Our next CUSD 201 board meeting is August 8th at 6 p.m. at Village Hall. All right. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn the July 25th, 2023 regular meeting of the Board of Education.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?